Okay, here's a wild thought for you. What if you could expand your intelligence a millionfold? And no, I'm not talking about some far-off science fiction plot. This is a very real prediction from the futurist Ray Kurzweil. Today, we're diving into his vision of a hybrid future, a future where we, humanity, actually merge with AI to go way beyond the limits of our own biology. It's a pretty mind-bending idea, so let's get into it. This one quote from Kurzweil really says it all, doesn't it? It just captures the incredible scale of what he's thinking. He's not talking about the next iPhone or a slightly faster computer. He is literally predicting a complete reinvention of what it means to be intelligent. So 1,000,000 times smarter. That sounds pretty much impossible when we're stuck in these bodies, right? Well, for Kurzweil, the very first step on this journey isn't about building better computers out there. It's about getting past the limitations of biology in here. I mean, for pretty much all of human history, we've just accepted this as a fact of life. Life is short. We've even built entire philosophies, religions, and art around the idea that, the fact that it ends is what gives it meaning. We tell ourselves that death is just a natural, necessary part of being human, but is it really? Kurzweil's whole argument is that getting past our biology is what we've always been doing. Think about it. 1,000 years ago, life expectancy was a measly 20 years. Today, with things like pacemakers and cochlear implants, we are already, in a way, early-stage hybrids. So the next steps you see here, they're not some crazy new idea. They're just the next logical step in a very, very old human project. So what about all the people who say, oh, I wouldn't want to live forever? Kurzweil has a pretty sharp take on that. He says, look, it's one thing to philosophically accept death when it's just an abstract concept, but it gets real, really fast when it's personal. When you or someone you love gets a life-threatening diagnosis, what do? You fight. You look for a cure. It's just a fundamental core instinct. And that basic instinct to live, well, that brings us to one of Kurzweil's most famous and honestly most mind-blowing ideas. It's called longevity escape velocity. This is the moment where we don't just slow down aging, but we actually start to win the race against it. Now, this isn't about finding some single magical cure for getting old. It's about reaching a tipping point. Think of it like you're on a treadmill that's speeding up. Right now, that treadmill, aging, is winning. Longevity escape velocity is the moment where our medical technology starts advancing faster than you're aging. So for every year that passes, science is adding more than a year back to your life. And believe it or not, we're already on this path. Right now, for every single year you live, scientific progress adds about 4 months to your life expectancy. Now, yeah, we're still losing the race, but we're losing it more slowly than ever before. And because this kind of progress happens exponentially, Kurzweil predicts we're going to cross that finish line sooner than you think. So when exactly does he think this will all happen? Well, based on his models of exponential technological growth, Kurzweil puts a date on it, 2032. Yeah, that's less than a decade from now. But living a lot longer is really only half the picture. To get to that millionfold leap in intelligence that we talked about at the beginning, Kurzweil says we have to do more than just patch up our bodies. We need to upgrade the thing that makes us who we are, our brains, by connecting them directly to the cloud. I know, that sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But the key technology here is something very real, nanotechnology. We're talking about building tiny, microscopic robots the size of your blood cells, that have their own sensors and processors. Think about it this way. The computing power that used to fill an entire building now fits in your pocket. Kurzweil says, soon, that same power is going to fit inside a single cell. The way he imagines this working is just astonishing. Picture it. These little nanobots travel through your bloodstream, maybe cleaning up clogged arteries on their way. And from there, they can travel, completely non-invasively, up into your brain, where they'd set up a wireless bridge, a bridge from your neocortex, the thinking part of your brain, to a synthetic cortex in the cloud. And the difference would be absolutely staggering. I mean, our biological brain is amazing, but it's fundamentally limited by the physical size of our skulls. A cloud-connected mind, on the other hand, would be, well, limitless. If you had a question, you wouldn't pull out your phone to Google it. The answer would just appear in your thoughts instantly, as if you'd known it all along. So, what happens when you put all this together? When our biology is no longer a constraint and our minds are plugged into the cloud? Well, you get the final piece of Kurzweil's vision, the birth of a truly hybrid human. And Kurzweil is really clear about this point. This isn't about humans being replaced by machines. It's an enhancement. It's a merger. He sees it as just an extension of what we already do every day. We use tools, technology, to overcome our limitations. This is just the next and way more integrated step in that journey. So, let's paint a picture of this hybrid human. Imagine a person who is, for all practical purposes, immortal, free from disease, free from aging. A person whose intelligence is 1,000,000 times what it is today, with instant, seamless access to all human knowledge. This isn't a person just using a tool. Their very mind would be a hybrid of biological and artificial thought, working together as one. A future like this is, well, it's both incredibly exciting and, let's be honest, a little bit terrifying. And it forces us to step back from the tech itself and ask some of the deepest philosophical questions we can even imagine. I mean, as our own consciousness becomes this mix of biological and digital stuff, the whole distinction between us and AI just starts to melt away. How would you even define your identity? Where does your biological self end and your digital self begin? And that kind of leaves us with this final, really profound thought to chew on. See, we don't really have a scientific test for consciousness. We just assume other people are conscious because they act like we do. As AI becomes more and more a part of our lives, and even a part of us, it's going to act conscious, and we're going to treat it as if it's conscious. And at that point, we have to ask ourselves, does the difference even matter anymore? Something to think about as we look towards this strange, new, hybrid future.